Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Perrett and welcome back to Something Sinister. Really quickly before we get into the video today, I just want to give a huge shout out as always to everyone out there, you guys. Thank you so much for always coming out and checking out the videos whenever I upload, and for continuing to subscribe and share the videos with your friends. We're almost to 10,000 subscribers, which at the beginning of the year I think we started at 2. So, you know, the fact that we, got 8,000 subscribers, possibly more, in the year is absolutely incredible, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys, so thank you so much as always. So today we're going to be talking about the scary nostalgia iceberg, which there are pre-existing scary / disturbing icebergs out there on Reddit and such, but this is actually an iceberg that I crafted myself based on things from my childhood that I found particularly scary. When it comes to scary nostalgia, the iceberg itself could literally be endless, just because, all of us grew up around there's so many different types of media, TV shows, the internet. It could be absolutely endless, and so that's why I decided to make it particular to me. So if there's something that is not on this list that you think should have been on this list, it's either because I did not personally find it scary or was not introduced to it when I was younger, or perhaps it is already mentioned in a previous video. A lot of videos like I Feel Fantastic are not on this list because I already talked about them, and I try not to do too many duplicates on this channel. Another thing to mention, there's a lot of information on this list, a lot of different names and locations, so please forgive me if I mispronounce anything. Also, and finally, a big topic that is talked about on this list are screamer videos, and what those essentially mean. They're like your classic, pop-up videos, jump scare videos. I want to bring that up because while I am talking about them, I want to assure you that I am not going to put in any random jump scares or show the screamer videos themselves. They're just still images and stuff like that. And I point that out because whenever I watch videos like this, I'm constantly afraid that I'm gonna run into those, but you don't have anything to worry about as far as that's concerned. And as always, if there is a tier that you would like to jump to, feel free to check out the timeline down below. I should have everything broken up. So without further ado, thank you guys so much again for coming out and checking out the video. Please subscribe if you enjoy content like this, and leave me a comment down below letting me know what type of content, what type of videos you would like to see in the future. And as always, I hope you guys are staying safe out there, and I hope you enjoyed your Halloween. And yeah, so all right, enjoy. The Slender Man is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme created by Something Awful forum user Eric Knudsen in 2009. Slender Man is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless head and face, wearing a black suit and tie. Stories of the Slender Man commonly feature him stalking, abducting, or traumatizing people, particularly children. The Slender Man has become a pop culture icon. Although he is not confined to a single narrative, he appears in many disparate works of fiction, typically composed online. These include video games, movies, as well as online series such as Marble Hornets on YouTube. Beginning in 2014, a moral panic occurred over the Slender Man after readers of his fiction were connected to several violent acts, particularly a near-fatal stabbing of a 12-year-old girl in Wisconsin. The stabbing inspired the documentary Beware the Slender Man, which was released in 2016. Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a British horror comedy series. In the series, each episode starts like a typical children's series, consisting of anthropomorphic puppets akin to those featured on Sesame Street and other popular children's television programs. The series parodies and satires these TV programs by contrasting the childlike, colorful environment and its inhabitants against disturbing themes. Each episode features a surreal plot twist in the climax, including psychedelic content and imagery involving graphic violence, dark humor, existentialism, and even psychological horror. The 6 episodes of the web series explore and discuss basic subjects typically found in preschool, namely creativity, creativity, time, love, technology, diet, and dreams, while the television series touched on jobs, death, family, friendship, transport, and electricity. The series received widespread acclaim for its story, production design, psychological horror, humor, hidden themes, and characters, and it is regarded by many as one of the greatest web series of all time. Similar acclaim was met with the television series as well. Salad Fingers is the titular main protagonist of the Salad Fingers series. He is a mentally disturbed individual who often hallucinates and indulges in self-harm. Despite this, he means well and is friendly to everyone he encounters, though at times he absent-mindedly causes unintentional harm to them. It is shown that he enjoys the sensation of rubbing his fingers on rusty objects, such as spoons and taps. As of March 2022, there have been 12 episodes published on YouTube and Newgrounds. Since its debut, Salad Fingers has amassed a cult following and has been described as a viral phenomenon. Herobrine is the subject of a community-made creepypasta. He is one of the major community icons of Minecraft, yet Herobrine has not been present in any version of Minecraft. The first story and image ever posted about Herobrine, as well as the Brocraft stream, are regarded as canonical. Things posted after these two events are considered fan-made adaptations and variations. Herobrine first appeared in a single image detailing an encounter. The first photo of Herobrine's first canonical sighting was posted on 4chan's paranormal board X in 2010, but gained little attention at the time. It stated how Herobrine had appeared in someone's single-player game, littering the map with various pyramids and tunnels. The post had since been deleted. It is the first media to name him as Herobrine. He is the center of an endless speculation and creepypasta, producing explanations of his origin, such as a ghost, Notch's dead brother, revenge carried out by a fired Mojang employee, and a slew of others. Robot Chicken is an American adult animated stop-motion sketch comedy television series created and executive produced for Adult Swim by Seth Green and Matthew Steinreich, along with co-head writers Douglas Goldstein and Tom Root. The writers, most prominently Green, also provide many of the voices. The title character was an ordinary chicken until he was run down by a car and then subsequently brought back to life in a cyborg form by mad scientist Fritz Hunmorter, who tortures Robot Chicken by forcing him to watch a random selection of TV shows, the sketches that make up the body of each episode. The show often features special episodes built around a single theme, including Star Wars and DC Comics. The Maze, also known as the Scary Maze game, was a flash game created in October of 2004 by game developer Jeremy Winterraud. This flash prank disguises itself as a simple maze game in which the player has to utilize their mouse cursor to move a small dot through the maze. At the start screen, there is a note informing the player that the objective of the game is to pass through all 4 levels, and the player cannot touch the walls. However, there are only 3 levels in the game. The game also explains that it is best to play with the volume on, but there is no sound in any part of the game. The first 2 levels are easy to complete, but as the 3rd level is reached, the walls begin to shrink and have sharp turns, making it difficult to avoid touching them. This usually makes the player concentrate on the screen. Then, near the first curve to the left of the maze's sharp part, a close-up image of Regan from the 1973 supernatural horror film The Exorcist pops up along with a loud, distorted scream that plays twice, scaring the player. Gummy Bear is a German-origin, international, multilingual character and virtual band that performs Gummy Bear-related songs on various albums, including I Am Your Gummy Bear from 2007 and La La Love to Dance in 2010. The video for the song I'm a Gummy Bear has nearly 3 billion views on YouTube. The name Gummy Bear is taken from the German brand of bear-shaped gummy candies from Haribo, introduced in 1920. The highly stylized, green, blue-eyed, obese, gelatinous bear character wears an orange Y-front briefs or underwear and white sneakers. Gummy Bear also seems to be bitten with a small portion of the upper left ear missing. The bear's muzzle, or allowing for anthropomorphism, has a mustache and goatee. Gummy Bear's right iris and pupil are greater in size than the corresponding left-sided features. YouTube poop is a type of video mashup or edit created by remixing or editing pre-existing media sources, often carrying subcultural significance into a new video for humorous, satirical, obscene, and profane, as well as annoying, confusing, or dramatic purposes. YouTube poops are traditionally uploaded to the video sharing website YouTube, hence the name. Media sources of YouTube poops include television shows, movies, anime, cartoons, commercials, video games, music videos, live performances, historical footage, and other videos obtained from YouTube or elsewhere. A typical YouTube poop uses visual and auditory effects to alter the underlying work, as well as a rearrangement of individual clips. The most common of such rearrangement being the sentence mixing, a form of editing in which the dialogue in a video is rearranged or chopped up to form new, often humorous dialogue, drawing humor from the unexpected changes to the well-known sourced dialogue. Some of these videos may involve completely or partially repurposing sources to create or convey an often self-aware story, while others follow a non-linear narrative, and some may contain no storyline at all, instead regarded among the lines of surreal humor and artistic experimentation. To this degree, a YouTube poop may even consist solely of an existing video, sometimes modified, repeated in a slow or remixed loop. In many cases, YouTube poops utilize a bizarre sequence of elements which may entertain, confuse, or irritate depending on the viewer. Associate Professor of Cultural Anthropology at the Kansas State University, Michael Wesch, has defined YouTube poops as absurdist remixes that ape and mock the lowest technical and aesthetic standards of remix culture to comment on remix culture itself. The THX logo, or THX, is a motion picture quality certification system, despite being branded as a sound system until 1997. It was founded by Tomlinson Holman and George Lucas in 1982. The THX system was created for the theatrical release of Star Wars Episode VI, Return of the Jedi, and later appeared on the VHS release of most of 20th Century Fox movies and the earliest DVD releases later on in 2002. THX officially stands for Tomlinson Holman's Experiment. What most people remember about this logo, however, is the sound that accompanies it. A synthesized crescendo sound effect known as the deep note. It starts off with a group of 30 descending synthesized voices reminiscent of the sound of an airplane flying. Each voice moves slowly and randomly in a frequency sweep between 200 Hz and 400 Hz. This part of the deep note then repeats, and eventually the voices proceed to their target notes, a drastic change of 3 octaves. The lower notes grow deeper and the higher voices grow more shrill, becoming an ascending dramatic sound that the sounds stop at in one pitch. 3 voices are heard per note, slightly detuned. 2 more voices are heard in the bass. After every episode of The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, DNA Productions' logo would appear at the end with the titular Paul, a 3-eyed monkey, showing up on an island and saying his signature line, "Hi, I'm Paul." During the production time of the series, the crew of DNA wanted a little variety in their logo appearances, instead of just the exact same thing in every episode. So different versions of the logo were made, with Paul either saying something different, or he would appear in the logo differently. As a result, Paul has become a household name, and also one of the most remembered things of the franchise. Paul is named after one of DNA Productions' first 3 employees, Paul Clarout, who was also provided the voice for him. Prometheus and Bob is a stop-motion animation segment created by Cody Zellers and was featured on Nickelodeon animated sketch comedy series Kablam. 900,000 years ago, an alien named Prometheus befriended a caveman named Bob and began teaching him everyday things like eating breakfast, using the toilet, or watching television. Each lesson is recorded by Prometheus via his remote-controlled camera. Originally, a pilot was pitched to Nickelodeon where Prometheus teaches Bob the use of fire while documenting and teaching with a video camera. It would end with Prometheus being cooked alive by Bob and a monkey flying Prometheus's saucer into the camera. The pitch was successful on the condition that the pilot would never be shown due to its very dark nature, in comparison to the more family-friendly installments seen later on Kablam! Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is an ape-like creature that some people believe inhabits the forests of San Andreas and Grand Theft Auto V. Bigfoot is usually described as a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid. Players may find themselves wandering through the wooded parts of GTA 5 only to catch a glimpse of something strange. The mission, titled The Last One, is dedicated entirely to Bigfoot. Franklin meets a hunter who says that he has been on Sasquatch's tail for 8 years. After searching in the woods, the creature can be seen running. After a long chase, he will reach a dead end and will start cowering in fear. Upon shooting him, he will repeat the phrase, "Shoot me, human," and "I'm the last of my kind." Franklin concludes that the so-called Bigfoot is nothing more than a crazed man in a costume. Fun is Infinite is a stage based on the creepy secret message from the Sega CD game Sonic CD. The message is presumably intended to be shown to those who pirated the game, but it can be accessed manually via inputting the code FM46PCM12DA25 into the sound test. The message is used as a form of creepypasta and has been referenced in several edits and redraws throughout the years. Ghost Car is a commercial introduced in early 2005 by a German drink company called Kafi. As something very peaceful is happening on the advertisement, a zombie or gargoyle would pop out of the screen, screaming very loudly and frighteningly, and would possibly scare the viewer. In the end, it shows the company's brand as well as the product's logo. The video was one of the first screamers to be uploaded on the internet. The commercial was uploaded in July of 2005, also being the first screamer ever uploaded to YouTube, and one of the first videos put on YouTube in general. Since the upload, the video has gotten over 22 million views. Unagi is an eel species found in the Mario series, first appearing in Super Mario 64. They are commonly seen swimming through oceans and seas, and other times are resting in their holes, biting those who come near. While they do appear flimsy, it is impossible to defeat Unagi as they are immune to all attacks, and they can only be avoided. He is first seen resting inside the sunken ship in Jolly Roger Bay. When Mario approaches him, he swims out of the ship, allowing Mario to access and get the Power Star inside. In later missions, Unagi simply circles the drop-off outside of his ocean home. Staggering Beauty is one of the many useless websites. The site depicts a black, strange creature with white eyes following your mouse. After moving your mouse violently enough or staying on for long enough, the site suddenly starts flashing with random colors and blaring music as the creature begins spazzing out. It has been used in videos by top 10s about creepy websites, including this YouTube channel. Ambience, also known as ambient sounds or ambient sounds, are sounds that can be heard in specific conditions. Currently, there are 167 different ambience sounds. Ambience is divided into groups of ambience sounds that play under the same conditions. Currently, there are cave, underwater, and nether ambiences in the game of Minecraft. Cave ambiences, also known as cave sounds or eerie sounds according to the subtitles, are sounds that occasionally play when the player is underground or in a dark area based on the mood algorithm. I'll play some sounds for you now. Happy Tree Friends is an adult show disguised as a children's show. The series features cartoon anthropomorphic forest animals. Every episode starts out peacefully with the animals living life as normal, but a sudden event, unintentionally or sometimes intentionally, caused by another animal leads to many of the characters being subjected to very extreme and cruel graphic violence. Each episode revolves around the characters enduring accidental or deliberately inflicted pain, murder, or mutilation. The candy brand Wonka used to have a website full of different online games for kids to play. One of the games was a 3D maze game. The maze took place in a pyramid of sorts, and your objective was to navigate the maze and find all of the different flavors of Laffy Taffy. The catch is, there are monsters in the maze, and they want to ensure that you don't get all of the flavors. The monsters made a laughing noise, which today wouldn't cause many to bat an eye, but as a child, it was simply horrifying. This entry refers to an episode of Adventure Time that surprised and shocked a lot of child audiences during its run on Cartoon Network. Finn and Jake are invited to the elephant Tree Trunk's house for apple pie. The group begins talking about what they wish they could do if they could achieve anything, and Tree Trunks notes that she wants to pick the rare crystal gem apple, which is located in the evil forest. Finn and Jake decide to make her wish come true. When they reach the evil forest, Finn and Jake realize that they have to fight the Crystal Guardian, Tree Trunks style, by putting on makeup and tricking the monster into letting Tree Trunks take a bite out of the crystal gem apple. When Tree Trunks bites the apple, she pauses for a second, then explodes, leaving Finn and Jake and the Crystal Guardian shocked and staring at each other in horror. Wormy is an episode of SpongeBob in Season 2. It features SpongeBob and Patrick adopting a caterpillar, who they refer to as Wormy. Overnight, Wormy spins a cocoon and then later emerges as a monarch butterfly during the following day. SpongeBob and Patrick, as well as the rest of Bikini Bottom, are horrified by this creature. The episode cuts from its normal animation and shows a close-up image of a real butterfly, accompanied with a loud buzzing sound effect. Airing on January 21st, 2000, King Ramses' Curse was the 7th episode of the debut season of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Enter the ghost of King Ramses, who appears outside of Muriel and Eustace's home and commands for them to return the slab or suffer my curse. Ramses appears in a 3D animation style, in contrast to the 2D style of the other characters. Ramses has tattered garments flowing in the nighttime breeze and strange tentacle-like things coming out of his ears. He warns that if the slab is not returned, they will be visited by 3 plagues, but Eustace, being hard-headed, refuses to concede. Back in 2007, Cartoon Network showed Goosebumps marathons all throughout the month of October. Their marketing tactic took on a grindhouse style, which was an interesting choice for a children's show. The commercials were narrated with a low, booming male voice. It was accompanied by a slur of different Goosebumps moments, all played under a thick, degraded film overlay. Most of the commercials were lost, but you can still find a couple online. Limbo is an abstract Muppet character consisting of 2 eyes and a mouth made of string, controlled by invisible wires attached to gloves worn by 2 puppeteers. The puppet is performed live in front of a pre-recorded film that is projected and then layered and composited later on in the editing room. The character has been referred to as Nobody for his appearance, as he has no body. Limbo was used most often in variety show appearances, speaking in a deep, pensive voice. The character would deliver thoughtful and even apprehensive monologues. The film and soundtrack combined to explore the character's inner thoughts, fears, sense of self, and general mental state, as various projected film objects would appear behind Limbo's face. Limbo, or Nobody, would later appear on television shows like Sesame Street. This particular clip was taken from that show. We see a plasma-like blue structure with towers varying in size. Dots pink, green, red, and blue are circling the scene. Then, the camera zooms into the plasma-like structure. Before this, the words Sony Computer Entertainment appear for a few seconds. After entering the structure, the PS2 will show you certain screens. Many people claim these visuals, along with the ominous startup music, have given them nightmares as a kid. Similar to the last entry, we see a green blob formed in a green and black factory. It keeps moving quicker and quicker, but everything zooms out in a green light, and we see a large green pointy X. Below, it is Xbox, which is also in green. In a few seconds, the 1987 to 2012 Microsoft logo is seen on the bottom. The Sneeze, How Germs Are Spread, is a computer-animated program depicting how germs are spread. The program opens with a bacteria busily dividing itself inside of a mouth. We travel with them as they go to a party. After being sneezed onto the host's hand, the germs are transferred to a doorknob as the character enters and are then picked up on the hands of others opening the door later on. One germ-laden partygoer handles several donuts before selecting one, leaving germs on everything she touches. With infectious and resistant diseases on the increase, it's time to remind everyone, especially food handlers, children, and medical workers, how germs spread and why it is important to wash your hands. Monster House is the film from 2006 about a sentient house. The film follows neighborhood children and their attempts to maneuver around the house after being accidentally swallowed by it. In one particularly traumatizing scene, the owner of the house witnesses his wife die in a brutal accident. Her corpse is later found encased with cement in the base of the house. Her spirit is what keeps the house alive. Pencil Face was created by Christian Simmons, a student of Savannah College of Art and Design. In the film, a young girl encounters and befriends a creepy, buck-toothed, smiling pencil. The pencil has the ability to conjure up whatever she wishes for. The ending of the film, though not totally unexpected, does manage to leave a jarring effect on our minds. I'm Not Tommy or Stu is in reference to an episode of Rugrats. In the episode, Chucky is having trouble distinguishing fantasy from reality after having vivid dreams at night. This almost results in disaster when he sleepwalks into his neighbor's yard where a bulldog is keeping watch. At the end of the episode, Chaz puts Chucky into bed and Chucky goes to sleep. As soon as Chaz enters the next room, he notices Stu and mentions that he did not know that he was coming over, only for Stu to turn around with a clown face on. Stu says, "I'm not Stu," in a weird, silly voice and giggles, very similar to Chucky's dream at the beginning of the episode. Chaz wakes up, screaming with fright, only to find out that it was all a dream, ending the episode. The Adventures of Mark Twain was an animated movie intended for adults. In this particular scene, Twain and a group of children encounter the mysterious stranger. The stranger begins to form a miniature kingdom out of clay. It is soon populated by miniature people as well. As the miniature humans toil, share food, and interact, the mysterious stranger grows increasingly frustrated with their behavior. Things come to a head when it watches them fight over an ox made by Becky. The mysterious stranger tells the kids to back up as it intends to wipe out the miniature kingdom with an earthquake and thunderstorms. The mysterious stranger sends bolts of lightning down upon the very beings it helped create. As the miniature world implodes, the mysterious stranger tells its guests that people are of no value. The animation gets really extreme and intense as the small humans watch their universe come to a cataclysmic end, focusing in on the suffering of each person. Their collective shrieks and cries rise up as the ground breaks beneath them. The film goes as far as showing some of these poor figures getting sucked into the dirt, while others mourn the loss of their loved ones, children included. Large Marge is a character from the movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure. In this particular scene, the main character Pee-wee is hitchhiking and manages to flag down a trucker, nicknamed Large Marge. As the two ride together, Marge tells Pee-wee the story of a truck wreck and how the inhabitants had a mutilated face. Marge then transforms into a claymation of a screaming face. The scene is very abrupt and disturbed many children who watched it. The X-Files was a science fiction and horror television show that ran from 1993 to 2002. It was a pop culture hit that focused on all things paranormal and conspiracy. A strong focus was given to wide-spanning government conspiracies involving aliens, though its strength came from the episodes featuring various monsters, legends, and creatures. As far as the theme song goes, the X-Files theme may be one of the most iconic of the modern television era. Rather than starting the show with the intro, the episode itself would begin with a 1 to 2 minute setup. The setup would almost always end with a traumatic experience, usually an unexplained occurrence or violence. Before the show is even technically introduced, the audience is thrust into the violent unknown world of the X-Files. We are not just told, but shown that monsters do exist and that they are dangerous. Mr. Valve, also known as the Valve Guy, is the nickname used for the two mascots used by Valve for their introductory logos seen at the start of their games and previously on their official website. In the intro, Mr. Valve can be seen as a heavier-set, bald man with his back set towards the camera. A red valve protrudes from his head. He begins to turn and look towards the viewer as the frame rate changes and the music comes to a head. In another, earlier version, Mr. Valve is a seemingly normal man, but with the red valve sticking out from his eye instead of the back of his head. The hash-slinging slasher episode from SpongeBob, entitled Graveyard Shift, features Nosferatu flickering the lights at the end of the episode when SpongeBob and Squidward are talking to a fish who wants to apply for a job at the Krusty Krab. The episode shows stock footage of Max Schreck as Count Orlok from the 1922 silent film Nosferatu. The episode writer proposed the idea as a gag at the end of the episode, which series creator Stephen Hillenburg accepted. Before the idea of Count Orlok, the writer thought of Floorboard Harry, an idea that was deleted. The episode received critical acclaim upon release, but frightened many young audience members. Over a static purple background, a black ink stain on a blue background with a liquid effect appears by splattering all over the screen. A hand passes by and drops magazine clippings of eyes and a mouth in yellow-orange bars onto the liquid background. The eyes seem to wiggle like jello. The face then says the company name as white blocks fly out from his mouth. Something is described as a surreal vision of home economics, education, and face structure. The short, which debuted on YouTube in 2010, was created by Cyriac Harris, or better known as just Cyriac, or his beta username Mutated Monty. He is an English freelance animator, artist, composer, and author from Brighton. He is known for his surreal and bizarre short web animations with the frequent use of the Droste effect. The Droste effect is the effect of a picture recursively appearing within itself in a place where a similar picture would realistically be expected to appear. This produces a loop which, mathematically, could go on forever, but in practice only continues as far as the image's resolution allows. Something showcases this effect using twisted, mutated faces as its subject. The disturbing cat is a gray cat seen in Who Let the Cat Out of the Old Bag's House from the Misadventures of Flapjack. During the cat's close-up scenes, it has black eyes and an open mouth with sharp teeth all around it. A low, guttural, angry meowing can be heard. The animation style changes, prompting discomfort in many young viewers. After being coerced to Pleasure Island, without rules or authority to enforce their activity, Pinocchio, Lampwick, and countless other boys soon engage in smoking cigars and cigarettes, gambling, vandalism, and getting drunk, much to Jimny's frustration. Jimny eventually discovers that the island hides a horrible curse, turning boys into actual donkeys. As revealed by the coachman, if you leave a young boy to his own unsupervised devices, he'll soon make a jackass out of himself. The coachman plans to sell them to slave labor in salt mines and circuses. Pinocchio witnesses Lampwick transform into a donkey, and with Jimny's help, Pinocchio escapes, partially transformed with donkey's ears and a tail, though they have to abandon Lampwick and the other boys altogether. Nacht der Toten, or German for Night of the Undead, also known as Night in the Resurrection poster, is the first zombies map featured in Call of Duty World at War and the Nazi map's game mode. Nacht der Toten is located in an abandoned airfield where up to 4 players must defend themselves against an infinite number of waves of the undead for as long as possible. The cutscene in question shows a barely lucid POV of a character as they gaze out into the barren wasteland. As the scene continues, a mysterious figure can be seen running towards the player in a staggering fashion. Behind the running figure appears more shadowy figures. As the running zombie seemingly impedes the player, the Nazi zombie's logo appears. When the magic mirror tells the queen that Snow White is the fairest in all the land, the queen orders her huntsman to take Snow White into the forest, kill her, and bring back her heart in a jeweled box. However, the huntsman cannot bring himself to kill Snow White. He begs for her forgiveness and reveals the queen wants her dead. He then urges her to flee into the woods and never return. Her journey is frightening until she is befriended by woodland creatures that lead her to a cottage deep in the forest. Jeff the Killer is a creepypasta character portrayed as a noseless and pale-faced man without eyelids and black loops around his eyes. This character became famous with its image, used as an internet screamer, and over time grew to a widespread creepypasta. The image is a composite of someone's unedited face, of which is unknown, but believed to have once existed on the internet. There are 2 known widespread versions of the early Jeff the Killer image. The earlier variant uses different eyes and a non-distorted smile compared to the second and more famous edit. The first known appearances of the earlier picture began with a Japanese media sharing site called filemen.n1e.jp by an anonymous user on July 24, 2005. It was accompanied by the caption roughly translating to "The Fear of Summer Nights," and a description reading, "A certain celebrity before plastic surgery." The second variant of the image that later went on to be used on the Jeff the Killer creepypasta first appeared again on the media sharing site pya.cc by user OmegaVolt on November 16, 2005. Both variants could be seen on numerous Japanese image boards throughout the mid-2000s before becoming popularized by Killer Jeff on Newgrounds. Perfect is the second half of the 13th episode in Season 4 of Courage the Cowardly Dog, written by Billy Aronson. It aired on November 22, 2002. It is the final episode of Season 4 as well as the series finale. After Eustace tells Courage he can't do anything right, a mysterious elderly schoolteacher named the Perfectionist appears. Strangely, she can only be seen by Courage, implying that she may be imaginary. The Perfectionist tells Courage that he must prove to her that he is perfect by going through several perfection lessons. Courage spends the day failing miserably at these lessons, and the Perfectionist sends Courage to bed, telling him to sleep perfectly. However, Courage finds himself without any sleep because of the nightmares with themes about perfection. The scary imagery in this particular dream sequence is the Bugle Monster, who whispers to Courage, "You're not perfect." Suicide Mouse, also known as SuicideMouse.avi, is a black and white cartoon featuring a looped animation of the Disney character Mickey Mouse walking along with several buildings accompanied by eerie piano music. The video then cuts to black for several minutes and returns with distorted video and a loud screaming audio at the end. The animated footage begins with Mickey walking with a morose expression. However, no soundtrack can be heard, but soon things begin to change. Sound starts to play in the background. It begins with rhythmic tapping and then what a source describes as a murmur. It wasn't a language, but more like a gurgled cry. By the 8th minute of the footage, Mickey is seen running frantically, his face twisted into a horrific image while the screaming reaches a painful pitch. The reel then cuts to a large, smiling Mickey logo, typically shown at the beginning and at the end of Disney's vintage one-reel cartoons. The Violin Girl is a girl seen in the episode Courage in the Big Stinkin' City. She is in one of the rooms in Schwick's apartment complex that Courage enters to find the evil package that Schwick sent him to find. The first door contains King Ghidorah from Godzilla, the second one contains a shark, and the third one contains what looks like a normal blonde girl with her back turned to Courage with a violin playing soothing music. But then, she turns around revealing a huge scary face with flying hair. Her mouth is open widely, and she has space teeth and buggy, bloodshot eyeballs. Kool-Aid Killer is a series by YouTube creator Danebo, most well known for his Annoying Orange series. The first episode features the titular character hunting down people who don't like Kool-Aid, only to brutally murder them upon finding them. The animation of the character itself utilizes a blank picture of Kool-Aid. Superimposed over it is Danebo's eyes and mouth. The imagery is very similar to the aforementioned Annoying Orange. Rubber Johnny is a British experimental film from 2005. The film, entirely presented in infrared vision, begins with an out-of-focus close-up of Johnny babbling incomprehensibly while being interviewed by an unseen man. At one point, Johnny mumbles the word "mama" twice, after which the man asks if he wants his mother to come in. This causes Johnny to start breathing erratically and lose control, so the man gives Johnny a sedative injection to calm him down. The video then cuts to a fluorescent light turning on, a mouse crawling over a press sticker credits list, followed by the title Rubber Johnny, which is shown written on a condom in a backwards playing shot of it being pulled off of a penis. Johnny sits recumbent in his wheelchair with his oversized head hanging over the back of it. He starts dancing along to the Apex Twin track AFX 237 V7 while his chihuahua watches. His dancing involves him performing balancing tricks with his wheelchair and deflecting light beams with his head. A door opens and Johnny is interrupted by an aggressive male voice. During this, Johnny is sitting upright in the wheelchair. The voice yells at him indistinctly. A slap to Johnny's face is implied and the door is slammed shut. Johnny then snorts a large line of cocaine. He screams in the dark and then hides behind a door, avoiding white light beams. Johnny's face smashes repeatedly into a glass surface, and each time chunks of his face articulate the vocals in the song. He is then interrupted a second time by the voice, after which Johnny once again reclines back in his wheelchair and babbles at his chihuahua. The credits roll over a night scene of a train passing in the distance. The Rake is an alleged monster that attacks and kills humans. The Rake is described as a 6-foot-tall, gray-skinned humanoid with sparse hair, black, sunken or hollow eyes, a large jaw capable of unhinging, and peg-like teeth with large fingers or claws on its hands. In some tellings of the story, the Rake has an almost hairless canine look to it. Pringle Advert was a video uploaded to YouTube on the 20th of November in 2016. The video is considered to be the next in a series dedicated to malevolent or otherwise eccentric brand mascots, with the others being the Nesquik Rabbit, Quaker's Oats, and Hamburger Helper. In the video, a rounded, disturbing-looking Pringles man appears in front of a pink background with several images of chips. He says, Are you hungry? Why not have some Pringles? It's exquisite cuisine. Come on in and purchase this chip. Come enjoy these crisps. He then appears more sinister looking, stating, "What's that? You're going to get Doritos instead? Really now? You think you have the audacity to buy another brand of chips? You will regret that purchase." The Pringle Man fades away and the video ends. The Yelling Creature is a character made by the YouTuber Rob Herman, the cause of many scare children all the way back in 2006, was this poor little creature who is just trying to distance itself from others by staying in a mansion. When Boyfriend comes in to rap, he lets out a faint "no" before getting roped into his shenanigans. The Yelling Creature looks to be a pale, clay-looking creature. Its eyebrows look sad, it has wrinkles around its mouth, and in general, it just looks kind of sad. Where the Dead Go to Die is a 2012 American adult animated anthology horror film written, directed, composed, edited, and animated by James "Jimmy Screamer Claus" Creamer. The film is noted as an extreme cinema due to its graphic nature. It's about a troubled group of children living on the same block, who are all haunted by a talking dog named Labby, who brings them on surreal hell rides between different dimensions and time periods. The film is completely animated. It is very reminiscent of an old arcade game like House of the Dead. This video originated from Russia and is truly one of the most disturbing YouTube videos I have ever seen. It shows dashcam footage of a car driving on a highway when something horrible happens. A brick falls off of a passing truck and flies into the driving car. The windshield is shattered as the brick plunges into the woman in the passenger seat. The cries and whimpers of the passengers can be heard as they react to the brick, and it is absolutely horrifying. There is no blood or gore shown, but the reactions are just as bad. The woman was later escorted to hospital where she died from her injuries. This video is still available on YouTube for viewers to see. Many young users have unknowingly stumbled upon it over the years, earning its place at the bottom of this iceberg.